What's up, everybody? Marco Cardovox Academy here, and I'm very excited to be talking about Rev3rent, I think is how you pronounce that, because I just learned about him like yesterday. I think it was the day before. Actually, it would have been yesterday because of the release date of this song. But basically, somebody in my comments was like, yo, you got to check out Rev3rent. And I was like, I just literally saw about them. I've seen the first like 30 seconds, maybe minute of this song, but I knew I had to pause it. So if you're new here, what I do for a living is I teach extreme vocals to people who need help with it, to help them go safely and efficiently through their metal vocal career. And here on the channel, I do vocal analysis. Now, they are doing some construction outside. I'll try to mute it in post. But here on the channel, I do vocal analysis, right? So I'm very excited because apparently this is from like that MySpace era revival genre of deathcore, which that's when I was a teenager. I graduated high school in 2007. So like this is, if this song sounds like that, then this is the sound of my youth, right? But anyways, let's just hop into it. I also understand that the band members are super young, which is always cool. I love seeing up and coming bands, so I'm very pumped to hear this whole song. Let's go ahead and get into it. Rev3rent, last one here. All right. That's about where I paused the first time through. So that's where I'm going to pause now. This is, so yeah, I got through the first, 30 seconds. Okay. So there are a couple things I absolutely love about this and the way that he's vocalizing. So far he's really mostly done highs. He did some lows that we heard in there. I'm going to hold off talking about those because I'm sure he'll do, well, maybe he won't, I don't know, but I'm sure he's going to do more. So there are a couple things that I'm hearing that give this song this like kind of old school MySpace revival vibe from a vocal perspective. Right now, these things aren't set in stone. You could go and you could look at some of those old bands and find a bunch of people who aren't doing this. But this is a sound, he's got a very like Mitch Lucker type vibe. But why? Why does he have that vibe? One of the main things that is giving him that vibe is the way that he's articulating, right? It's the way that he's articulating. So in a lot of deathcore, modern deathcore, which I also really love, right? I've come to, years ago, I used to say deathcore was awesome, but not really my thing. But in the years, I've actually come to really enjoy it like as a genre, right? But, there in a lot of modern deathcore, not all of it, there's a lot of either heavy articulation or absolute monster noises. So you'll hear people saying things really articulately, right? Like, I don't know, like pins and needles. You understand every bit of that. Then you hear people getting like really monstrous, like a lot of like Ben Dura type stuff where he's very like, where the syllables are kind of lost. And I love both, by the way. This Mitch always, in my mind, he sort of occupied a middle space. And that's what this guy, I'm sorry if you watch this, I don't know your name because literally I just heard about you. I'm going to look you up though, because this is sick. But anyway, this is where we're getting a lot of in the middle space that he also exhibits. So think about the line, how much must I curse your name and bring your beliefs to shame? I think it was. Mitch didn't say, how long must I curse your name? Not super articulate like that, but it also wasn't super monstering, right? It was kind of in the middle, this sort of flappy jaw, relaxed articulation. You see how it's like sort of in the middle? I'm hearing that a lot here. Also his highs, at least in this space, and I could be wrong. I'm going to listen through and maybe I'll correct it as I go. I've got ash on my finger and I just put it all over my face. That's hilarious. From that, probably. But anyway, it also seems like his voice is really up here. Oftentimes when we talk about high vocals, we say high vocals should go here. And usually when we talk about that, we're talking about a starting point, right? Like a lot of the time I tell my students to put their high voice kind of like up here in the back of their mouth, as far as the feeling of the distortion, while being hypo-nasal. Hypo meaning like sounding like you have a cold. So you don't have a lot coming through your nose, right? And then that's a good starting point, but that's of course not the only way to do it. You can get a lot more hypernasality. So he's existing in more of a forward space. I do want to keep listening. Anyways, I was going to talk a little bit about the vocal production I'm hearing, but that's enough. Let's just keep going. Oh, that's some All Shall Perish right there. There is no business to be had on a dead planet. Y'all remember that breakdown? Ho ho! Wage slaves, da dum dum with the fucking cowbell. Oh, come on! So God, oh my! I used to lose my mind. I used to lose my mind at what? It doesn't matter what venue it was. There's this venue that got shut down because there was a at it in Tempe where I grew up, and it was a great venue. But anyway. So what I'm trying to say is, one of the things that another thing that I love about his voice is that it's kind of raw. It's kind of loose. Now, I want to be clear about what I mean by this. I've never had anybody give me any backlash saying this from the channel, but I do sometimes have students who come in. I feel like I got to sneeze. Ooh. Maybe it's I usually do incense sticks, and that's a cone. So maybe that's what's making me have to sneeze. Anyway, but I'll have students come in, and because modern deathcore, again, in general, not always, there are always exceptions, is very precise and smooth with its grit much of the time, not all the time. They will sometimes think that a sound that is not super smooth, super concise is not good, or in a place of the vocal journey that you move through and don't stay at. But chunky, I don't want to say unrefined, because unrefined carries the baggage of like thinking it's bad. I mean more unrefined as like a raw gem versus a cut gem, right? Both are awesome. Both are beautiful. And we have a lot of like incidental voice coming through. We have a lot of like choppiness on the distortion, but it's all extremely well channeled. And that's part of, again, what is giving, of course, the surrounding music is helping a lot, but that's a lot of what's giving it this like, this like MySpace revival sound. Also the lows. So far, the lows have had a level of production on them, which it makes it a little hard for me to analyze exactly what's going on. We certainly can hear different variations of true chord phonation going on under the scream. And by that, I mean the sound of the voice. So you can do like a lightly true chord phonated where like, hey, you're not even really going to hear that in the mix. You can do something a little bit more true chord phonated. Yay, whoa, whoa, yeah, whoa, where there's more voice underneath. He seems to be moving back and forth between the two. I'm going to keep my ears open to see if I can get some more detail. I have a lesson in 17 minutes. Let's keep going. Holy crap. What a good screenshot. What a good screenshot. So, oh my God. Like, you know, one thing so this is the only song I've heard, but I got a lot of respect for these guys. And I'll tell you why, because sometimes when a genre starts to quote unquote come back, you know, whatever that means, or people take inspiration from a genre, they kind of just take the main points and sort of put it into their songwriting like Lego bricks. Right now, this is where a guitarist or a drummer could speak a little bit more eloquently than I can, because I'm just a vocalist. I'm surrounded. I've got like a bunch of guitars in this room. I don't play them. I told myself I was going to back in the day. I did not. But the way that they're transitioning riffs, the way that they're working in what, to me, again, this is where a guitarist could, what sounds like tapping up and down the fretboard, the way that they're I don't know, it sounds like these guys actually listen to and love the music from this genre, and they're trying to make something of their own from it. I hate the word derivative because it's so snooty, but this does not feel derivative to me. Maybe to some people it does, but I think this is really sick. Now, what I'm hearing in his lows, again, I would love to hear some lows raw, or maybe catch these guys live if they come through Arizona. But one thing I'm hearing through the lows, I don't think he's using it all the time, but I don't hear it as much, but there is this airflow thing that a lot of people used to do with their lows way all the time back then. And you sort of heard it a lot around like 2018 through 2020, so not that long ago. But it's basically where you create not a tunnel as in a tunnel throat, but where you create like a tube shape with your mouth and you breathe through your scream a little bit more than you think you should. And it kind of sounds weird raw. I'm going to do it. It sounds weird raw, but it can sound really good in a mix. And I think it sounds really good in this mix. Homie, if you watch this, you can tell me if this is what you're doing, right? So I'm going to do it with just like a traditional false chord tone, right? This A, low, oi, low, right? And I'm going to take this and I'm going to go, B. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to blow a little extra air through it. This is going to feel air dumpy. This is not a vocal I could carry through a whole song. Well, if I wanted to have a song with a bunch of legato. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do like a right? That's a lot of air. You're not going to get through much. You can some people, I can't remember who it was. Not like a super big name vocalist, but just somebody I was talking to back in the day when Cardivox Academy first started. Oh crap, what was his name? We're going back 6 or 7 years ago, but he would this is weird. It sounded so sick when I'm not going to do it right, but it sounded sick when he did it. He would like bite his tongue like this and go like, yeah. He sounded so cool when he did it, though. I just sound like a goober. If you're watching this, I remember your face. Say that was me in the comments, because it was so cool and you sounded so sick when you did it. But anyway, okay. So with that being said, I'm hearing some of that in the lows as well. I want to keep going because I totally just lost my train of thought. Because I'm like, whenever a song gets me super hyped, I lose track of my brain. My analytical brain that happened with the Mafra videos. All right, let's keep going. I feel like I'm also hearing different levels of closure within the laryngeal, within the supraglottal tissues. Those are the tissues above the vocal folds, but like also sort of at the back of the mouth. I don't hear a lot of, and again, there are multiple layers. There's a good amount of grit here. Which just from a personal preference point, I might ease back on that a little bit, but that's not because it sounds bad. It sounds, the production on this sounds awesome. It's just because I want to hear it a little bit more clearly. That's all. But you're not producing these vocals to make my job easy. You're producing these vocals to make the song sound sick as hell, and you're doing a great job at that. But there are different amounts of closure and different places where we can kind of close up the vocal space, right? You can close up on the vocal folds, obviously. You can close up in the tissues above the vocal folds in a lot of different balances, but like, right? You can close up even higher around like the epiglottis, tilting it back, maybe even vibrating with it a little bit. Right? I don't hear that. I don't hear that sound, but I do hear different levels of closure that are actually sounding really neat. There's also some spots where there were some squealy tones going on. I'm wondering if that was more EQ or like a layer in the vocals. You know what I need to do? I need to see if this guy's got any one takes. But there's a really cool balance here going on. Everything sounds really thick, really aggressive, coming from multiple angles. And I love that. I just want you to light me. That like charge in. Ooh, brings back the memories. Now, if you want to do that, by the way, now obviously it depends on what kind of scream you're doing. But if you want to do that, one thing you can do is you should focus on being very, very limber with your voice, right? Oh, thanks, Mark. Be relaxed. What great advice. Hold on. I'll give you more than that. So essentially, when we are vocalizing, right, we can choose the balance. When we get proficient, we can choose the balance of vocal cord activity that we have. We talked about that just before. And so if I go, I just want you to like me, or whatever distortion you're choosing, I'm basically going, Now, if you focus on that transition as a straight line, for a lot of new vocalists, it can be very difficult. It can be very tricky. However, if instead you focus on this transition as something playful and silly and goofy, it'll likely come to you easier. So for me, I realized that when I was doing this sort of thing, however long ago, I don't remember, I would sound kind of accidentally like Scooby-Doo, right? So like this, hello, Shaggy, hey, hello, and I realized that I had two sounds happening very close, and so if you slow that down, you can see how you can move in and out of clean true chord phonation and this distortion. And you don't have to start in your head voice. Loosey-goosey, very open, very playful. And if you're brand new to learning extreme vocals and stuff like this is helpful, this like playful exercise, or you feel like you have actually no idea where to start with extreme vocalization, I do real quick have a free course I released recently called How to Scream from Zero. It teaches you basically how to get ready to start learning to scream. You're not going to come out of this course, going, that's not going to happen. But what you will come out of this course with is a good understanding of what it feels like to be limber in your voice, what it feels like to search for comfortable distortion, rather than being like, I will learn fry, I will learn false chord, being like, what does my voice kind of want to do? And then a brief introduction on just the bare bones basics of what breath support feels like. So it's like a little free starter pack. Here you go. You can check that out in the description below, but let's keep going. Enough about me. I want to hear the outro of this song, especially because I had a lesson in 7 minutes. Holy sheesh. Oh! I wanted a more isolated sound, and there it was. I'm also hearing a little bit of Alex Kohler, another guy who does metal vocal lessons. Amiona vocalist, also Chelsea Grin. I've never talked to him before, but oh my God, I can't remember the name of the album, but the album, well, was it My Damnation? Or that one part, the touch of my skin is cold like the winter wind. Oh my God. Y'all, my iPod had some spins of that record. But anyway, I'm hearing some of that, like this. Okay. I'm not saying that's how to scream like Alex Kohler, right? I'm just kind of off the cuff making a pitchy up there sound. So let me give that some context, right? But this like really, I just want to hear it one more time. I know I got a lesson soon. I'll be quick. I just want you to... It sounds like he's saying last. Oh, I'm the last one here. That makes a lot of sense. I'm the last one here. That's not exactly the same texture he's getting on his distortion, but you can hear that coexistence of I'm the last one here. He sounds really good when he does. He's got this, and it's at this point, because the vocals are more isolated, it's not just the EQ, it's not just any added grit on there. There's really solid. I love the texture. Here's a sentence that only makes sense in the context of an extreme metal vocalization analysis video. I love the texture of his chunk. But I do. Let's keep going. That's just a solid false chord right there. It also has this very Oh, who was the vocalist before Joe Bad in Annotations of an Autopsy? There's this I'll tear this whole world apart. This but more air. Yeah. Or Rose Funeral, kind of. If I'm remembering what Rose Funeral sounded like properly, right? Crucify, Kill, Rot. What a great song. Good amount of voice. Good amount of air. And it's so funny too, because like 3-4 years ago, people were like, oh, I don't want my scream to be voicey and have a lot of air. And now people are like, yo, remember those screams that were voicey and had a lot of air? Let's bring that back. I love it. Oh. See, that's what I'm talking about with the texture. Listen to that. He does. See, mine is so thin. Mine is so smooth because that's what I've been trying to do for years. But he's got this really awesome. Kind of like that. All of that is going to come from changing the amount of closure we have in the throat, in those supraglottal tissues. And also, so the back of that pharyngeal wall, it actually can tilt forward a little bit. This is a swallowing motion. So sometimes when we're screaming, if you look in the back of your mouth, you can kind of see it. Sort of like tilting it forward. That's not a control mechanism. I can't control that directly by thinking about it. I have to like pair it with a sound sensation that I've sort of internalized. I would love to go more into that, but I've got 2 minutes. I just want you to hear it though. I think he's saying your throat, maybe. Listen, that might be my favorite scream of the song. Yeah, listen, see, that's what I'm saying. Everybody gets mad at how I use the mouse on this. And you know what? That's actually fair. I would get mad at it too. But I'm so paranoid that I'm going to push spacebar when I have OBS selected or Reaper or Audition, because I run like 4 programs at a time when I'm making these videos. I'm so paranoid that I'm going to push spacebar and have to start the video over. And it wouldn't even be that big of a deal. I'm just a little punk. But this is what I'm talking about. Like super unrefined. And again, I'm sure you can find elements of this in modern deathcore. With how big this genre is and how long it's been around, nothing is black and white. Nothing is absolute. Nothing exists on a spreadsheet. Everything is in a gradient. But this bleh, he's straight up bleh, bleh, bleh. Oh, it's just mean. It was irreverent. It was disrespectful. And I like that. Oh, they've got little studio sessions. That's awesome. That's really cool. I'm going to check some of those out because literally I know nothing about these guys. Look at this is a good kid. Oh, my video's been off center the whole time. Oh, well, whatever. I love that. I love seeing this. It's great to see people bringing back an era of music that I absolutely loved. I got to wrap this up really quick because I have about 30 seconds till my next lesson and I still got to pee and fill up my water. But amazing job to the guys in Rev3rent. Hopefully I'm saying that right. This is killer stuff. I love what you're going for. I love the vibe. I love the sound. Keep up the good work. Check out the free course in the description below if you just want an introduction to what it's like to start learning metal vocalization. Many thanks. I forgot my own phrase. Oh my God. Many thanks. Much love. I'm out.